Hello, good evening. I've come down from sunny Norfolk today, and I help passionate people talk about their thing with clarity, integrity, and energy every single time. Why? Because you can already do it. When you get in flow, when you forget yourself, when you're with your favorite person, it just happens. And that is something you can transfer over, and I'm going to show you some tools on how to do that. The surprising thing I've learnt over teaching hundreds of people and over nearly 15 years is that it's not actually about confidence. The best communicators are not necessarily the most naturally confident ones. They're not necessarily extroverts. They're actually the most aligned people, the most aligned communicators. Their thing is just bubbling out of them. And they can't help but tell you about it with energy, bright eyes, with engagement. And you're like, oh, I'm in. Tell me more. Even if you're not into their thing, you're into their energy and you're like willing to give them that space. Do you want to hear what it is? And that's something we can all already do. And I think that's a little bit of magic. So my company is called Working with Voice. I trained as a voice and speech coach, but I went into alignment coaching for communication as flow rather than as a set of rules, which is what we have been taught it is. Communication skills is something if you do this, and this, you'll be a great communicator. But where's the rest of us? Where's that like soul piece, you know? So that's what I wanted to really bring into my work. Me, I am neurodivergent. I'm officially dyslexic, possibly ADD. Both my parents are very spectrum, as are my siblings. We haven't all got all the letters, but you look around my family, you're like, oh yeah, that's a neurodivergent family. So I feel very comfortable around neurodivergent people. I feel like they're my people. Why? Because we're geeks and nerds. We're brave enough to care about something, have passion of something, to be into something. And I love that. I frickin' love that. My clients, though, would probably say they're introverts. Obvs, I'm an extrovert. But I love people. I love showing off. I love being on stage. But most of the people I work with, this is not their happy place, right? And that is not a reason to stop them from doing it. I want to ask you just very briefly, because I've only got 10 minutes and I'm already like 2.5 minutes in. But in a popcorn quiz, what do you feel is a neurodiverse challenge for communication? Just like pop your hand up or make eye contact if, yes.
Oversharing.
For sure. I mean, preaching to the choir. Mm-hmm. Any others?
Time blindness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's real.
I was going to say like your facial expression, not necessarily matching what you're thinking.
Yeah, that incongruence somehow, or perceived incongruence.
Dynamic narrative rather than just linear narrative.
Word. 100%. Oh, I'm just going to go over here for a bit and then, the circuitous route to the point. Yeah, thank you. That's a really interesting one. Also I would add to that levels of anxiety and overwhelm and sensitivity, especially in environments where we feel like we're trying to hide all the stuff that we naturally are. Possibly a tendency to monologue. Any monologuers in the rooms? Or need to move or fidget for the ADHDers in the room, right? These can be seen as negative traits, but actually I would say they can be part of your superpower and your memorability if you can channel them into a place that is about connection, right? So what does a neurodivergent communication edge look like? What's your actually, because I'm like this, I can do this, right? You're when nerds and geeks, gergs and deets, I nearly said, which means we are passionate people. We are into something. We're really into something. My thing is communication. If I was to ask you what your thing is, you could probably tell me something you really love, care about, are into, right? Extra sensitive. And that's great because once you learn for it not to be something that overwhelms you, you actually learn to pick up on cues and signs all the time in the room, in your intuition, in the person or people that you're talking to. That high sensitivity is amazing. Neurotypical people wish they could do that. And there's also when more unique. I mean, just look around. There's some great outfits in the room. There's some good glasses in the room. You know, we're more unique. Once we're relaxed, we actually embrace who we are. You can kind of spot us in the street. We stand out. It makes you more memorable. And also, we see things differently. For the storytelling thing, like, I'm a global picture thinker. I can't do linear thinking. I literally feel like I'm in a straitjacket. And I find it really boring. So that's part of my edge. People hire me for that, right? I put neurodivergent or dyslexic on I don't do applications because I coach, but if I did, I would put it on my CV. You know, it's an asset. So these are all ingredients of being a compelling communicator, actually. And so I want to teach you about the gut, heart, head. The 3 C's are the 3 centers. Your gut, your heart, your head. These are philosophical, physiological, and you can merge the two. It's an approach as well as an actual experience. So the gut, heart, head, how to balance that, how to know when you are overdoing or underdoing the gut, heart, head. They're 3 flows, if you like. And you probably have a favorite already. Maybe you're one of those emphatic speakers. I would lean to the gut. That would probably be my dominant piece. I have to balance it out with my heart, oh, yes, and how are you today? Checking in or validating what someone's just said or playing back what someone has just said. And the head, perhaps there's some head people in the room, like information, don't necessarily check in with their feelings. They would be the monologuers, perhaps. So these tendencies, notice these tendencies in yourself, in other people, they have different flows. So if you're over gut, you probably take up too much space. You might be a bit too loud, overbearing, over demanding. You need to do this, you need to do that. It's like that's the energy of it being unbalanced in an over way. In an under way, it lacks energy. It has a lack of vibrancy. The person is a little bit dull. Actually, it can really link with depression. Gut energy is a lack of purpose and drive and root in life. You have no reason to bother. When it's balanced, you feel purposeful and energized. You can't help it. The heart, when it's overwhelmed, when it's overused or overflowing, you're looking at overwhelm, vulnerability, hangovers, anxiety spikes. You're feeling too much. Your channel is too active. So when it's under, you can imagine a bit detached, not vulnerable enough, not able to access your own vulnerability or be vulnerable with others. And perhaps not very available. You don't feel available to interaction or connection. And it's because that part is playing down at the moment. It's under, it's not enough, it's not active enough. When it's balanced, you can guess it, right? You're able to be vulnerable, you're able to connect, you're open to connection. It's the yellow badge, right? It's the yellow badge. You can share your stories without being scared of that because you know that they're just part of you. And the head, let's come into the head. When it's overactive, it is hyper-rational, it's information overload, it's too much, it's too granular. It's like, I did not need all that, just give me top line, right? That's when it's over. When it's under, it's no clarity. I'm like, I listened to you for 10 minutes, I have no idea what you just said. You've just beiged and grayed them with information. When it's balanced, dynamically, it's clear, it's succinct, and it's structured, right? That's the home of structure. So you're getting a feel for the 3 centers. Can you recognize them in yourself, recognize them in the way other people communicate, what their leading edge is, right? What your leading edge is. So how do you do it? Well, the gut is, the question you want to ask yourself is, what's driving you in this moment? What drives you to bother? To do it, to go and talk to the person you perhaps are a bit intimidated by, or to go and approach this gig that you're not sure about, or to put up that social media post, right? Whatever it is, it's like, why are you going to do it? And when did that change? Like, what changed when you were like, I'm going to start the business. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to do the thing. That's the energy that you want to connect with. You want that with you, like in your backpack, when you are accessing your gut drive, the gut flow, right? It might sound like I'm here because, I do this because, I'm just going to do it so that, because. It's your so that because. That's its essence. The heart is what feelings need to be honored, either in myself. Actually, I'm feeling a bit sensitive today. You know, that might be true for you. So you might share that, and actually that can be it can really connect you with your audience or the person you're with. I was actually really nervous about today, for example, genuinely. I got like in a flap before leaving the house, which is quite rare for me, but I'm only just coming back to work after 2 years of becoming a new mum. So I haven't done a talk in person. I've done them online. I've done loads of webinars. This is my first in-person gig, and I'm just like, oh, I'm a bit nervous, actually. Thanks so much. Thank you. No, seriously, thank you. But that's true for me, you know. And look, the room came alive with that because I shared that. I put my heart in the room, right? And the head, can you hear my structure as I've been going through? I really thought about it. So you're able to receive the information in a way that doesn't overload you, that steps from one thing to the next. That's what that looks, feels, and sounds like. And it is, what information do they need if you were to put it on a Post-it? And it might be like 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. Or maybe it's a 5-part plan. Or my favorite, FNTF, which I got from an amazing sales coach called Katie Prince. I always do that. Which is FNTF, first, next, then, finally. It's a really, really good sequence. You can use it for sales calls, for whatever. You can use it for literally almost anything. Talking to your team and being like, first we'll do this, next, then finally. It's fantastic. So that's the gut, the heart, and the head. And being neurodiverse, what I really want you to take away from this today is a superpower. It's a communication superpower. But you've got to be balanced in yourself. And then your superpower plays out in flow, in whatever you care about most, right? And it's not your job to fit in. It is so not your job. And it's other people's job to just enjoy your company when you are in flow. And always take the time to find your anchor. Know what your anchor is. Like, for example, we met up, Jemima, and you had your fidget with you. And I know for you that helps you be more present. And you told me that. I already knew that, but you told me that so that you could relax. And it allowed us to connect and have a conversation where you felt relaxed.
And you asked me to take my sunglasses off because you couldn't see my eyes.
I did do that.
I had my glasses on so you could connect with me.
Because that makes me feel really disconnected if I can't see somebody's eyes. They don't have to be making eye contact all the time, but I like seeing the soul move. I don't know, I just like it. Who doesn't? So asking for what you need, or knowing what your anchor is, or maybe you need to go for a walk first, or maybe you listen to some awesome music before you do a thing. You know, whatever your anchor is, know what your anchors are, because they're going to help you flow in the gut, the heart, and the head. And then you can be dynamically balanced, just as you. Thank you.